Welcome. We've done a lot of talk on our channel here about LinkedIn.
Yes,
But today we
yeah.
want to teach you 3 things that you may not know about LinkedIn.
Okay.
The program, the platform is changing all the time. It's
Right.
kind of a moving target. So for that reason, when we teach courses, we never record a course on LinkedIn because it's changing too frequently. But
Exactly.
these are 3 things that would be helpful for you to know in the job search, whether you are a candidate returning to work or just a candidate starting a new career.
Yeah, and also as we gain new knowledge, we will
Mhm.
always update these LinkedIn videos. So if you want to take a look, we have a larger series,
Yeah.
and we will always update that. So the latest and greatest are, what drives a recruiter to your page? I think educating people about what's happening on the other side.
I see it. You probably see this a lot. I will see when I pull someone up that their nameplate says something like, brilliant marketer who drives activity to your blah, blah, blah. That's useless.
Right.
That's a nice statement you might want to write in your about section. But what the recruiter screen is looking for, what the recruiter is looking for, and the filters that they use to find you, number 1 is that nameplate.
Yeah.
So you want to have, I like doing things in 3s, 3 or 4 job titles or industries. So for example, if you are, let's say you're a project manager.
Okay.
You could say project manager. You could say, let's say within project management, you're a business analyst, and maybe something more general like, team leader.
Mhm.
Okay, those are job titles. You could also use the names, project management,
Right.
business analysis, team leadership, just make them consistent. The easiest way for the algorithm to read them clearly is if you separate each one of those job titles with a space and a vertical line. And the vertical line took me a while to feel this. At least on a Mac, it's right above the return button. If you use side slashes, it might think that that's a continuous title. If you use commas, it may misread it.
Mhm.
So that is the number 1 place to drive someone to your page. And you want to make sure that the job that you're looking for is reflected in your nameplate.
Right.
One of the things we talk about a lot when we're talking about LinkedIn is, let's say you're someone who, you were a teacher.
Right.
Now we're seeing a lot of people leave education.
Right.
We've seen teachers do this. You go and get a PMP.
Okay. Yep.
You can put project manager, even though you don't have that title yet.
Right.
That nameplate can be aspirational. However, like I wouldn't put neurosurgeon.
Right.
Like I have no experience in
Right.
neurosurgery.
We don't want to get like too
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, and you can't lie.
If you're
But-
in the process of,
And you
right.
have some certification, you can
Yes.
put that title in.
So there's another piece of real estate that's
Right,
really important
right.
that drives the recruiters
Right.
to your site and to your page. And what is that?
That's down at the bottom, the skills section. Interestingly, as a hiring manager,
Mhm.
I couldn't give a hoot, which is right there, because I mean, we work with 21-year-olds that
Right.
check 50 boxes. Whenever there's a drop-down menu and you just check stuff, people, oh yeah, oh, well, you know what? I ran the project for the swim team. I'm a project manager. So as a hiring manager, that list doesn't mean a whole lot. But for you, from a recruiter's perspective, when I'm putting in my filters as a recruiter, trying to find people, that's the second thing that drives you to me, the recruiter. So make sure that you have your skills listed on that list, that
Right.
you're being generous with the titles that you, or the skills that you check.
And that you're updating them, right?
Right,
You know,
that's right.
as you're
learning new things.
and,
Yeah,
that you're
exactly.
updating them.
And actually, it's a good point.
Yep.
Let's say you're moved up. Let's say the last time you updated your LinkedIn was 4 years ago.
Right.
You may want to take out some of those more support or administrative skills,
Right.
because you don't want to do that kind of work anymore.
Mhm.
And maybe put some of the more leadership skills that you've acquired more recently.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So the next one that we should explore is what a recruiter sees.
Right. Now,
What
in
do
our
they
courses, we
actually
actually share a recruiter screen that we have, just a proprietary screen, but I can tell you what it says. So if I put in, we'll stick that same example. I'm looking for a project manager
Okay.
who has BA, business analysis experience, who's led a team,
Yep.
who's worked in a Fortune 1000 company, and lives in the Chicago area and has at least a BS.
Okay.
Or a BA, right? Those can be my basic filters. When LinkedIn sends people to me, because there could be 1 million.
Right.
There are 900 million people on LinkedIn. There could be 500,000 at least that fit those general criteria. LinkedIn's not going to give me that many candidates. They're going to screen some out. So they're going to bring those that rise to the top. So things that will rise the person to the top are checking all of the boxes.
Okay.
That's number 1. Number two, and they can be coming in different orders. Number two might be having worked at a competitor.
Right.
That would drive someone up. And these are things you can't really control, but there are two things you can control. One of them is interest in the company.
Yeah.
And that is gauged two ways. If you've ever applied before, then that it'll show, LinkedIn will say, this is someone who's already applied to your company, so they're interested.
Yeah.
But it may be the first time you're applying somewhere, and you can't fake that either.
Right.
However, you can display interest in the company by following them.
Okay.
And it's one of like the first 4 filters. So when you scroll all the way bottom to the bottom of your LinkedIn page, and you have an opportunity to follow, you can follow companies, you can follow individuals, or you can follow, I think, associations.
Okay.
Follow the companies where you want to work. That is one of the ways that you display interest.
Right.
And for those of you who either have just gone to college or you've worked with a student, if you had a kid that's gone to college, you know, one of the things, you sign the guest book, you go for the tour if you can, because it shows interest.
Yes.
So
That's
demonstrated interest is really important.
It matters.
Right. These are things that you
might not know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, these are things that have evolved and changed and been added to LinkedIn. So that's a great update. Okay. The last one is the AI internal tool.
Yeah.
That is something that you should be aware of, especially if you want some practice.
It's so cool. So if you go into, I'm trying to picture, you're looking at your page. If you look at the top at the bar, you click jobs, and then it'll show you, you can then look at any jobs you're following, but then it'll show you some tools that it has, like the resume builder, which helps you build your LinkedIn profile and adding sections. But there's a thing that you can click that says interview, and you have the option on LinkedIn to practice an interview question. So the way the algorithm, it's an AI driven device, for lack of a better word. And what it allows you to do is either speak your interview into your camera, so it'll get an audio recording of your voice into your audio, or just write the answer.
Right.
And as soon as you click it, it gives you a question. And you can say audio answer or written answer, and you can create your answer, do it on the spot, and then using AI, it will evaluate your answer and then give you feedback on things that you might want to improve.
Yes.
Now, does this replace having a mentor or an instructor or even a peer evaluate your interview? No, but it's a great way to kind of get you started on. The other thing it can be helpful for is that there is a chance that you'll be interviewing with a robot or a videotaped interview that is then being evaluated by a robot. So having a robot evaluate your interview right on the platform could be really, really helpful for you, and reveal maybe some places where you're falling short or could improve.
Well, and I think just from a confidence standpoint, if you don't feel comfortable doing that in front of someone, right straight out of the gate, this is a way that you could do it privately first, and just sort of like dip your toe into the pond of getting some feedback about how you interview and your interview questions. But taking that information and, talking to someone else, or, doing it in front of someone else is always, human to human contact is something that we are big fans
But
of.
to your point, sometimes it's easier to do it in the privacy of your office.
There, like if you're, just trying to get yourself going and you just aren't ready to do it in front of another human being, this is a great opportunity.
And if you have no idea what questions you might be asked, it's also an opportunity to see what questions could commonly be asked in an interview. And so this is something that's very new. It's probably new within, the summer of 2023 or maybe the spring. There are constant new additions to LinkedIn. So you can follow, that's really the easiest thing to do would be maybe every few months, just search new features of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But it is a very dynamic platform, very different than the way it was created, which was more of a static place to connect.
Right.
This is a place for you to really promote yourself and hopefully make a job related connection.
Yes. So there you have it, the 3 things you don't know or might not know about LinkedIn. If you liked what you heard today, you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put out new content every Monday. If you want to learn more about us and our company, you can visit us at www.preparetolaunchu.com.
And since we're talking about LinkedIn, you can connect with our company or follow our company page on LinkedIn. We put lots of good information in there. We do live LinkedIn lives, and we post other videos. And you're already seeing us on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe there, but also you can connect with us individually on LinkedIn.
Yes. Take care.